At the college entrance exam rally, I took the stage to give a speech as a student admitted through the recommendation program. But my mom suddenly rushed onto the stage and snatched the microphone. The only reason Jiang Qingyao got a direct admission was because I secretly changed her grades every time. The entire audience gasped. I argued vehemently, trying to prove my innocence. But what can I do? Everyone believes that since my mom is my homeroom teacher, her reporting me was a matter of her conscience getting the better of her. In the end, my eligibility for direct admission was revoked, and my grades plummeted. I jumped to his death on the day of the college entrance exam. When I opened my eyes again, I was backstage, preparing for the college entrance exam rally. The lights from the backstage were so bright they made my eyes sting. There was a bottle of water on the vanity, and next to it was my speech. I wrote the manuscript myself, revised it 7 times, and know every word by heart. Qingyao. Don't be nervous. A familiar voice came from behind me. I spun around suddenly. My mom was standing there, wearing an off-white shirt and holding my school jacket, with a gentle smile on her face. She walked over and helped me put on my coat. Speak a little slower when you're on stage, didn't rush. Her tone was extremely gentle, just like a normal mother who is proud of her daughter. I stared at her face, and it felt as if all the blood had been drained from my body. My past life, that is. Today, right here on this stage. She snatched the microphone and, in front of more than 2,000 teachers and students from the entire school, said those words. The only reason Jiang Qingyao got accepted without an entrance exam is because I secretly helped her change her grades every time. And then everything came crashing down. Once I lost my eligibility for direct admission, my grades plummeted. Everyone looked at me with a mixture of contempt and pity. Finally, I jumped off the roof of the school building. Qingyao, what's wrong? You look so pale. My mom reached out to touch my forehead. I took a step back. It's okay. My voice sounds hoarse. Are you nervous? Mom, let me tell you. The speeches by students admitted through special recommendation are just a formality. You're already part of Shanghai University. What are you afraid of? She smiled and withdrew her hand. I looked at her, and a thought suddenly crossed my mind. In her previous life, did she hesitate even for a second before taking the stage? Have you ever thought about what would happen to her daughter after she said that? Mom, I let out a cry. Isn't there anything else you want to say to me? My mom paused for a moment, then smiled. What are you talking about? You've said everything an aunt should say. From when I was a kid until now. She paused for a moment, then added, today is a happy day for you. How could mom say anything to spoil the mood? I closed my eyes. In her previous life, she had said the same thing. Then, 2 minutes later, she rushed onto the stage. All right. Get ready, it's almost your turn. My mom patted me on the shoulder, turned, and walked to a corner backstage, where she sat down on a folding chair. She looked down at her phone, her expression calm. I clutched my speech, my knuckles turning white. This time, I won't let her get away with it. And now, please welcome Jiang Qingyao from Class 1, Grade 12, a representative of the students admitted through the recommendation program, to the stage to give a speech. The host's voice came through the speakers. A round of applause broke out from the audience. I took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The sun was blazing, making the entire playground gleam brightly. The audience was packed to the brim. All students in grades 10 through 12, along with all subject teachers and several school administrators. I walked up to the microphone and placed my speech on the podium. Dear teachers and fellow students, hello everyone. I spoke, and my voice was steadier than I had expected. The audience fell silent. I spoke for 3 minutes, sharing my reflections on my studies, my hopes for the future, and my gratitude to my teachers and the school for their guidance and support. Everything is normal. Then I saw the side door at the back open. My mom came out. Instead of rushing straight onto the stage, she stood by the steps on the side of the stage. Looking at me, his expression was quite complex. There was hesitation. There was reluctance. And there was something else I couldn't quite understand. But in the blink of an eye, that expression vanished. She strode onto the stage. I stopped speaking and looked at her. People in the audience began whispering to one another. Jiang Qingyao's mom. What's she doing here? You're here to deliver flowers, aren't you? My mom walked up to me. But she didn't hand me any flowers. She snatched the microphone from him. Teachers and students, I am Jiang Qingyao's mother, and I am also an English teacher at this school. Her voice echoed across the entire playground through the speakers. I'm going to expose something today. The reason Jiang Qingyao was admitted to Shanghai University on a recommendation was that I secretly altered her test scores every time she took an exam. The whole crowd went wild. What? Is that for real? Her mom said so. How could that be a lie? My head buzzed for a moment. Even though I'd known for a long time that this moment would come, when it actually happened, I still felt as if something had gripped my heart tightly. Mom. I wanted to grab the microphone back. But she had already taken 2 steps back, putting some distance between us. Qingyao. Mom can't keep covering for you anymore. Her voice was choked with tears. Her performance was incredibly convincing. Mom has been a teacher for 20 years. And she's never done anything like this. But because you're my daughter, I lost my head for a moment. You're talking nonsense. I finally shouted it out. All eyes in the audience were on me. Some people were filming, while others were whispering. I didn't change my grades. I earned every single one of my test scores myself. I turned to the audience. Teachers, classmates, do you believe me? Then explain it to me. My mom's voice suddenly turned cold. Why did your English score suddenly jump from around 110th place to first in the grade on the final exam at the end of your sophomore year? That's because I worked hard. Try hard. My mom chuckled. Going from 110th place to first in the grade in just 1 semester. Do you think we're all idiots? There was another stir in the audience. I clenched my fists. In my previous life, she was the one who cornered me, step by step, until I had no way out. Every time she presented a piece of evidence, I would frantically try to defend myself. The more I try to explain myself, the more guilty I seem. The more guilty I seem, the less people believe me. In the end, everyone was saying, her own mother has come forward to report if though could it possibly be a lie. This time, things can't go on like this. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. Principal. I turned to look at the principal, who was sitting in the front row. Principal. I'd like to request to retake the test in front of the entire school. The room fell silent for a moment. What? The principal paused for a moment. I said, enunciating each word clearly. I can start the test right now. Math, Chinese, English, and integrated science. You guys can come up with any questions you want. I'll solve them on the spot and grade them right away. If my grades do not meet the requirements for direct admission, I voluntarily waive my eligibility for direct admission. If there's nothing wrong with my grades, then my mom is slandering me. My mom's expression changed for a split second, but soon, she resumed that look of deep distress. Qingyao. Stop messing around. Mom knows you're under a lot of pressure. I wasn't making a scene. I stared at her. Mom, didn't you say my grades were fake? Well, I'll prove it to you right now. Don't waste everyone's time. It won't take long. I interrupted her and looked at the principal again. Principal, do you trust me? The principal was silent for a few seconds, then stood up. Go get a table and a chair and bring them to the middle of the playground. A few classmates volunteered, and the tables and chairs were soon set up. The freshly printed test papers were lying on the table. A complete set of 4 subjects: math, integrated science, English, and Chinese. The questions were prepared by several heads of teaching and research groups. Questions are selected and printed on the spot. No one knows the questions in advance. I sat in a chair, the sunlight making the back of my neck feel hot. More than 2,000 pairs of eyes were staring at me. Some people were laughing. Some were just watching the spectacle, and others were holding their breath for me. My mom was standing at the edge of the stage. Her arms crossed over her chest, watching me from a distance. I couldn't make out her expression, but I could sense that she was waiting for me to lose. I picked up my pen. For the first question, I figured out the approach just by glancing at it. Question 2, that's easy. Question 3, I've done something similar before. My hands are getting steadier and my thoughts are becoming clearer. I've practiced these problems thousands and thousands of times. In the days leading up to my admissai on without an entrance exam, I spent every night working on practice problems until 2 a.m. The stack of my mistake notebooks is half a person's height. My grades weren't stolen, I earned them by working through each problem one by one. My mom saw all of this, but she chose to come out and slander me. I shook my head, forcing myself not to think about anything else. Time ticked by. Second by second. It was quiet on the playground, with only the occasional cough. I was completely absorbed in the problem. I don't know how much time had passed, but I finished the last major question and put down my pen. I'm done writing. The crowd erupted once again. The teachers walked over, collected the exams on the spot, and graded them right then and there. I stood next to the table, my palms covered in sweat. After about 20 minutes, the head of the teaching and research group stood up. He looked at me, then at my mom, and finally at the principal. The results are in. How much? The principal asked. Total score, 685. The entire audience gasped. 685. Oh my God. The fact that she can stay focused on her problems even under these circumstances shows she's really got what it takes. Then why the hell did they report her? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Some of the students began to clap, and others whistled. I heard someone shouting, Jiang Qingyao is awesome. My eyes welled up with tears in an instant, but the very next second, my mom's voice rang out. She's done this set of problems before. The entire hall fell silent once again. My mom stepped out of the crowd, her voice so loud that it could be heard all over the playground. I had her work through this set of problems ahead of time. She memorized all the answers. I felt the blood rush to my head. I haven't done the set of questions. They were picked at random just now. How could I have done them in advance? How am I supposed to know how you did that? My mom looked at me with a strange calmness in her eyes. But you did do it. On the 15th of last month. On a Saturday afternoon. You did this set of problems in your study at home. After you finished, I even helped you check your answers. You're lying. My voice was trembling. Then tell me. My mom took 2 steps forward. How long did you get stuck on the third sub-question of the last major problem in that set of questions? I was stunned. I've never even done this set of problems. How am I supposed to know what she means by at that time? See. You can't answer that. My mom turned to the principal and the teachers. Everyone. I'm not trying to ruin my daughter's life. I just couldn't stand by and watch her keep lying anymore. She's a good kid. But she's gone astray. I'm saying this publicly today so that she can live with dignity in the future. Some people in the audience began to waver. Her mom made it sound so convincing. But when she was working on the problems just now, she didn't seem like she was just reciting the answers. Who knows? My mind was racing. Don't make a fuss. The louder they argue, the more it sounds like they have something to hide. I took a deep breath. Mom, if you say I've already done this set of problems, then fine. Give me another set of problems I've definitely never done before, and I'll solve them right then and there. My mom shook her head. Qingyao, please stop wasting everyone's time. Haven't you wasted enough time already? Her tone was gentle yet cruel, like a knife wrapped in cotton. Anne. She paused. I've already called the admissions office at Shanghai University to report that there's a problem with your eligibility for direct admission. My heart skipped a beat. How could you do that? I'm just doing the right thing. My mom looked at me, her eyes red-rimmed. Qingyao, it's okay if you hate Mom. Mom can't just stand by and watch you go to college with fake grades. The audience was in complete chaos. Some people are insulting my mom, and some are insulting me. I closed my eyes and forced myself to calm down. In my previous life, Under my mother's relentless criticism, I completely broke down. She rushed forward to grab the microphone and cried out. I didn't. Crying hysterically. Everyone thought I was just lashing out in anger after being exposed. This time, we can't make the same mistake again. I opened my eyes and turned to the principal. Principal, even if my mom files a complaint, won't Shanghai University still have to follow the formal investigation process? The principal looked at me and nodded. Yes. Shanghai University will send a representative to our school to verify the situation and review your original transcript and exam records. Okay. I nodded. Then turned to face the entire school, teachers and students alike in the audience. I bowed. Teachers and students, I'm sorry for taking up your time. Everything I've said today is true. I believe that the innocent will be proven innocent. And the results of Shanghai University's investigation will prove my innocence. Thank you, everyone. There was a few seconds of silence in the audience. Then, someone in the front row began to clap. It's Mr.Li, my Chinese teacher. Immediately afterward, the applause grew louder and louder. Jiang Qingyao, we believe in you. I don't know who shouted that. Tears suddenly welled up in my eyes. The rally came to an end. Small groups of people trickled off the playground, and murmurs of conversation rose and fell all around. My mom was standing at the edge of the stage, surrounded by a few teachers. I didn't know what they were talking about. She would occasionally glance at me, and in her eyes I saw only a kind of stubbornness I couldn't understand. I turned and walked away from the playground and headed to the principal's office. Principal, I have a request. Go ahead. Starting today, I want to live in the dorm. The principal looked at me for a moment, then sighed. Why do you suddenly want to live in the dorm? I opened my mouth, and memories from my past life welled up inside me. After I got home, my mom kept repeating the same thing to me every day. Your grades are fake. You're not eligible for direct admission. Day after day. Just as a drop of water can wear away a stone, I actually began to doubt myself. In the end, even I started to believe it. I clenched my fists and forced that darkness back into the depths of my heart. You saw what happened today, too. I tried my best to keep my voice sounding calm. If I go home now, my mom and I won't be able to get along. I want to focus on preparing for the Shanghai University survey and not be distracted by other things. The principal nodded and didn't ask any further questions. All right. I'll have someone arrange a dorm room for you. Thank you, Principal. As I was walking out of the office, I ran into my mom in the hallway. She had just come from the playground, and when she saw me, her expression changed. Qingyao, aren't you going home? I'm not going back. What do you mean? Is the school your house? Starting today? Yes. I walked around her and left. I heard her voice from behind me. Jiang Qingyao, stop right there. I didn't look back. The dorm room is a separate room that used to be the dorm supervisor's office. I sat on the bed and buried my face in my hands. I'm really tired, but I can't rest. The investigation team from Shanghai University could arrive at any moment. Before that, there's one thing I need to figure out first. Why did my mom do that? In my previous life, I never managed to figure this out. Everyone thought she had a change of heart and was overflowing with a sense of justice. A public school teacher finally couldn't stand her daughter cheating gang anymore. But I know that's not the case, because she knew all along that I hadn't cheated. She's trying to ruin me on purpose. But why is that? I took out my phone and started checking the list of students admitted through the recommendation program. There was another boy who was preparing for direct admission to Shanghai University with me. His name is Lu Mingyuan, a student in class 5 of the senior year. His grades have consistently ranked around the top 10 in the school, but he has never made it into the top 3. This time, Shanghai University offered our school one spot for direct admission. I was first in line, and he was second. If I am disqualified, he will take my place. I stared at Lu Mingyuan's name for a moment. Then I started scrolling through my mom's moments, scrolling back to last month's Mother's Day. I saw a photo she posted of herself with a few teachers. In the corner of the photo, There is the half profile of a boy. I zoom in. Then zoom in some more. I recognized him. It's Lu Mingyuan. He was standing next to my mom. Their shoulders were almost touching. I scrolled through a few more posts. That's all. The next day, I started deliberately watching my mom at school. I never noticed it before. But now that I'm paying attention, a lot of things can't be hidden anymore. During recess, when my mom ran into Lu Mingyuan in the hallway, she would take a few extra glances at him. It wasn't the way a teacher looks at a student, it was a different kind of look. Gentle. There was even a hint of flattery. But when she saw me, that tenderness vanished. In its place came a cold, dispassionate scrutiny. I'm starting to wonder about something. A very cruel thing. A week later, I finally found an opportunity. That afternoon after school, my mom and Lu Mingyuan were talking in the garden behind the school building. I took a detour along another path and hid behind a holly bush. I couldn't make out what they were saying. But my mom had a gentle look on her face. She reached out and adjusted the collar of Lu Mingyuan's school uniform. That gesture was so natural that it didn't seem like something an ordinary homeroom teacher would do to a student. After Lu Ming walked away, I stepped out from behind the bushes. When my mom saw me, she paused for a moment, and then her expression immediately turned cold. You were hiding here eavesdropping? No. I was just passing by. I walked up to her and looked at her. Mom, I want to ask you something. Go ahead. What's your relationship with Lu Mingyuan? My mom's expression changed. What do you mean? Who am I? He's my student. Just a student. Jiang Qingyao. What do you mean? Her voice rose. I stared into her eyes. You treat him better than you treat me. My mom was silent for 2 seconds, then let out a cold laugh. Who I'm nice tohats it to you. Of course it matters. I took a step forward. Because you want him to take my spot in the direct admission program, don't you? What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Mom, I whispered. Is he your illegitimate son? My mom's face suddenly flushed red. Are you crazy? Jiang Qingyao. Try saying that again. Her voice was shrill and piercing, and her eyes were wide open, as if she were about to devour me. I don't care what kind of nonsense you're thinking. My mom took a deep breath and regained her composure. I'm going to tell you just one thing right now. You'd better give up your guaranteed admission spot on your own and explain the situation to Shanghai University. I didn't cheat. So why should I give up? Because your previous grades were fake. That's not a lie. You know. I don't know. She looked at me, enunciating each word clearly. All I know is that you're a student suspected of cheating. He isn't qualified to represent our school at Shanghai University. If you don't give up on your own, you'll look even worse once the investigation results come out. After saying that, she turned and walked away. I stood in the garden, my fists clenched. Illegitimate child. Once that thought takes root in your mind, you can never get rid of it. Over the next 2 days, I began to deliberately seek out Lu Mingyuan. I asked him to lend me his notes, asked him about the questions, and even made a point of sitting across from him in the cafeteria. He was reserved, but also very polite. Every time I talked to him, I looked closely at his face, eyebrows, eyes, nose bridge, and chin. The more I look at her, the more she reminds me of my mom. I even seriously considered how to get a sample of his hair for a paternity test. But on the 3rd day, I threw a wrench in the plan myself. Lu Mingyuan, if my spot were to be passed on to you, what major would you choose at Shanghai University? He looked up at me. I'm not planning on going to Shanghai University. I was stunned. Aren't you second on the list for automatic admission? That was before. I changed my choice later. Lu Mingyuan smiled. I got accepted through Sun Yat-sen University's independent admissions program. So I'm going to Sun Yat-sen University. Sun Yat-sen University. Yeah, that was last month. Your mom knows about it. She forwarded the materials to Sun Yat-sen University for me. Last month. That means there hasn't been any competition for spots on the direct admission list for quite some time. My head buzzed for a moment. Then why did my mom ruin my chance at early admission? It wasn't to make way for Lu Mingyuan. So what was it all for? Then, 2 days later, the investigation team from Shanghai University arrived. 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman. They met with my mom first. My mom sat in the conference room, her expression serious and righteous. Like a hero exposing corrupt officials. Teacher, you said you altered Jiang Qingyao's grades. How exactly did you do that? The first question was raised. My mom cleared her throat. I logged into the school's grade entry system using my own account and changed her grades in each subject. The professors at Shanghai University exchanged glances. Are you sure you changed the grades in the system? Sure. Do you remember when that change was made? I would correct them after every test. This went on for about a school year. The professor from Shanghai University looked down, tapped the tablet, and then looked up. Professor Jiang. We've retrieved the backend logs from your school's grade entry system for the past 2 years. There are no records of any changes made from your account in the system. My mom's expression froze for a moment. That can't be. The log shows it clearly. A professor at Shanghai University turned the tablet toward us. Every time grades are entered, a timestamp and account record are generated, and no unusual activity has been detected. My mom was silent for a few seconds, then smiled. Oh. Maybe I just remembered it wrong. It's not about changing the system. It's about changing the test. Grading papers. That's right. I'm an English teacher, and every time there's a test, I volunteer to grade her English exams and give her high scores. I've also asked my colleagues to keep an eye on the other subjects. I was sitting in the chair next to him, and when I heard that, I jumped to my feet. You, Qin Yao. Sit down. A professor from Shanghai University glanced at me. I gritted my teeth and sat back down. The professor from Shanghai University then asked, you mentioned that you asked some colleagues to help you change the grades. Which colleagues were they? My mom signed up 2 names, a math teacher and a physics teacher. The 2 teachers were quickly ushered into the conference room. After hearing this, the math teacher turned pale. Professor Jiang, I've never changed a student's grade. How can you say that? You clearly promised me last time. When did I ever agree to that? The exam papers are assigned randomly every time, so there's no way I can guarantee I'll end up grading Jiang Qingyao's paper. The physics teacher shook his head repeatedly. Teacher Jiang, you really shouldn't go around saying things like that. As teachers, that's exactly what we must avoid. My mom's face turned red. You guys, weren't you? Teacher Jiang. A professor from Shanghai University interrupted her. One moment you say it's about changing the system, the next you say it's about changing the test papers, and the witness you provided doesn't even admit to it. Do you have any other evidence? My mom opened her mouth, then closed it again. I must have remembered wrong. She sat up straight, calm and composed. It's not about changing the system, nor is it about changing the test. It was me who got the test papers in advance before every exam and leaked the questions to my daughter. There was a moment of silence in the conference room. The professor from Shanghai University furrowed his brow. Are you sure? Sure. Then how did you get the exam in advance? I'm a teacher, so I have access to the test papers. Teacher Jiang. The Academic Affairs Office always distributes the exam papers for each school exam on the day of the exam. How did you get it ahead of time? My mom got stuck again. I looked at her, and something inside me shattered. She's lying. She knows full well that I'm being wrongly accused. Yet she's still lying. She no longer cares what the truth is. All she cares about is whether she can bring me down. We are unable to verify this at this time. The professor from Shanghai University closed his tablet. But we can't revoke a student's direct admission eligibility based solely on a report from one parent. We need more evidence. My mom got worried. Well, go ahead and investigate. She told me after she got home that she had cheated. Mom, I finally couldn't hold back anymore. When did I ever tell you I cheated? You said so. I didn't. You did say it, you just forgot. I was so angry I was shaking all over. The professor from Shanghai University stood up and said, "Let's just go back for now. If any new evidence comes to light in the future, please feel free to contact us at any time." They're leaving. I know that if they just left like that, things would reach a stalemate. My mom will keep spreading rumors and smearing my name. The gossip at school won't stop. I have to get them to stay for now. Teacher. I stood up and said, "Please wait a moment. I have a suggestion." I walked up to the professor from Shanghai University and tried my best to keep my voice steady. The joint exam for the 8 provinces is next week. The exam papers for this joint entrance exam were prepared uniformly across the province and didn't arrive at the school until the day before the exam. No one was able to get them in advance. I'd like you all to stay and see how I did on this college entrance exam. If I fail the exam, I will voluntarily give up my eligibility for direct admission. If I do well on the exam, I looked at my mom. Well, at least that means there's nothing wrong with my grades. The professors at Shanghai University exchanged glances. That's one way to do it. But one test doesn't mean much. That's still more convincing than an accusation with no evidence at all. The female teacher nodded. All right. We'll stay. But then my mom suddenly spoke up. No. Everyone looked at her. Doing well on one test doesn't mean your previous grades were accurate. As she said this, she looked completely convinced. A professor from Shanghai University glanced at her. Ms. Jiang. As Jiang Qingyao's mother and her homeroom teacher. He paused. Why doesn't she want the best for her own daughter at all? My mom's expression froze. But she quickly recovered. I am simply fulfilling my duty as a public school teacher. Her voice returned to its usual calm. Jiang Qingyao is my daughter. But in the face of the truth, she is just an ordinary student. I can't go easy on her just because she's my daughter. His words were so high-sounding and flawless that one couldn't find a single fault with them. The professors at Shanghai University couldn't say anything more either. Then let's do as Qingyao suggested. We'll make a decision after the college entrance exams. They left. It was just my mom and me left in the conference room. She sat in the chair without looking at me. I picked up my backpack and headed out. Qingyao. She called out to me. There's no point in fighting for that. Even if you do well on the college entrance exam, that doesn't mean your previous grades were legitimate. As long as there are any doubts about your previous grades, Shanghai University can rightfully reject your application. I stopped in my tracks. Mom. What do you really want? Silence. I just want you to be an honest person. After she said that, she stood up, turned around, and walked away. I was alone in the empty office and couldn't help but burst out laughing. But I was already in tears. The joint entrance exam is coming up soon. I live on campus. I get up at 5:30 every day and return to my dorm at 11:00. The cafeteria, classrooms, and dorm's a daily routine that revolves around these 3 places. Every night, Emmer.Li brings me a carton of milk and says, "Don't stay up too late." Whenever the principal walked past a classroom, he would pause for a moment outside the window and then quietly walk away. But what was most agonizing for me wasn't studying. It's my mom. She would come to my classroom on her own, and in front of the whole class, slam a stack of evidence down on the desk. Qingyao. This is your answer sheet from the last monthly exam. Take a look at this handwriting, just this your own. I picked it up and took a look at it. It's mine. Well then, let me ask you this. The steps to solve this problem aren't in your notes at all. So why are they on your answer sheet? Because I came up with it in the exam room. You figured it out. Didn't you say you couldn't do it before? Mom, that was last month. I've learned how to do it since then. You've learned it in just one night. Do you think everyone else is stupid? She was speaking very loudly, and the whole class was looking at her. Time and time again, every time she comes over, it's the same old routine. Raise a question, interrupt the answer, express skepticism, and then say, "Mom just wants you to be honest." Then leave. 3 days later, I noticed that the way my classmates looked at me had started to change. Not everyone can tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. When your mom accuses you of cheating every day right to your face and says it with such certainty, there will always be someone who believes it. That was her intention all along. It's not about persuading the investigation team, it's about ruining my reputation. It's making it impossible for me to live with everyone watching me. In my previous life, this is exactly how I was gradually backed into a corner. Step by step. She doesn't need Shanghai University to revoke my direct admission status. All she had to do was make everyone else doubt me and make me doubt myself. And then I was done for. When I got back to my dorm that night, I stood in front of the mirror for a long time. The girl in the mirror had lost a lot of weight. She had deep dark circles under her eyes, and her eyes were red. I really want to give up. I wanted to run out onto the playground and shout, "Okay, I did it all, are you happy now?" But I held back, because that's what I did in my past life. In this lifetime, I won't fall for her tricks again. I washed my face, sat down at the table, and opened my error notebook. Read it page by page. I stayed up reading until 1:00 a.m. on the day of the joint entrance exam. The exam room assignments were announced. I was the only student in the entire school assigned to a separate classroom, for cameras provide full coverage with no blind spots. The exam papers were delivered from the municipal admissions office that morning and had not been opened beforehand. The proctor was sent from another school. He didn't know me or my mom. I walked into the classroom and sat down. Take a deep breath. Start the test. 2 days. 4 subjects. I'm on top of my game in every subject. My hand writes. My mind thinks. And my heart is at peace, because I know that this time, no one can change my answer. After the exam was over, all answer sheets were sealed and sent to the grading center. Randomize the order and grade them in batches. No one can tamper with it. Those 2 days while I waited for my grades were the longest 2 days of my life. I was sitting in my dorm room, unable to concentrate on anything or get anything done. My mom never came looking for me again. The principal said that she had suggested on her own that she not come to school for the time being and wait until her grades were released. I don't know what she's thinking. Maybe she was convy and said I would fail the exam. After all, someone whose mother tells him you're a liar every day would have had a mental breakdown long ago. But what she didn't know was that I was no longer the fragile person I had been in my previous life. On the day the results were announced, the conference room was packed with people. The principal, the head of the teaching and research group, 3 professors from Shanghai University, my mom, and me. A teacher walked in, holding a document. Everyone looked at him. My mom was clutching the strap of her purse so tightly that her knuckles had turned white. The results are in. How much? The head of the teaching and research group took the document and opened it. His eyes widened. Jiang Qingyao. Total score on the 8 province joint college entrance exam. Number 1 in the province. The conference room was silent for a full 3 seconds. Number 1 in the province. Oh my God. This is a first for our school, isn't it? The female professor from Shanghai University was the first to stand up, walk over to me, and hold out her hand. Jiang Qingyao, I am honored to inform you that Shanghai University warmly welcomes you to join us. I took her hand. My hand was trembling. Thank you, teacher. We've looked into the previous report. Her smile faded. There's no evidence that you cheated. Your eligibility for direct admission is valid. Tears welled up in my eyes all at once. My mom stood up. Her face was deathly pale, and her lips were trembling. It can't be. This can't be. Teacher Jiang, your daughter ranked first in the province on the exam. Aren't you happy? The head of the teaching and research group asked a question. My mom didn't answer him. She looked at me, and the light in her eyes faded little by little. Then, she suddenly let out a scream. No matter what, the grades she used to apply for early admission were fake. You can't. Ms. Jiang, the principal interrupted her. That's enough. Enough of what? You've all been fooled by her. My mom's voice was shrill and piercing. I'm her mother. How could I possibly hurt her? I was just teaching her a life lesson. She can't go to college with fake grades, but she's already proven herself in front of the whole school. Mr.Li had appeared at the door at some point. First place in the province on the college entrance exam with a result like that. Why would anyone need to fake their scores? My mom opened her mouth, then closed it again. She looked at the principal, then at the professor from Shanghai University, and then at me. Finally, she slumped into the chair. He kept muttering under his breath. It's a lie. It's all a lie. She can't get special admission. No one paid any attention to her. The professor from Shanghai University smiled and shook my hand. It is an honor for Shanghai University that a top provincial student from the reserve list has chosen us early. At that moment, it suddenly dawned on me why my mom had done all of this. My mom stayed seated in the conference room until they left. I walked over to her and crouched down. Mom. She looked up, her gaze unfocused. Did you really change my grades for me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Then tell me. How did you change it? She opened her mouth but couldn't speak. Mom. I'll speak for you. I lowered my voice. You don't want me to get into Shanghai University through early admission. And it's not because my grades are fake. It's because you don't even think much of Shanghai University. My mom's expression changed instantly. The sense of disarray faded away, replaced by a sharpness born of realization. You could go to Peking University. Why would you choose Shanghai University? She finally told the truth. Last time you took that test in front of so many people, you scored 685. You even ranked first in the whole province this time. Why do you want to go to Shanghai University? What's wrong with Peking University? Peking University is the best university in China. If you get into Peking University, that would be a way to bring honor to our family. I finished her sentence for her. Besides, if you mentor a student who gets into Peking University, your professional title is all set. Right? My mom's face turned pale. You. How did you know? Mom. How many times have I told you this? My voice was trembling. I've told you countless times that Shanghai University offers the major I want to study most. When it comes to that major, Shanghai University is the best in the country. But you never listen. You never listen to what I have to say. My mom opened her mouth, then suddenly went limp. Qing Yao. Mom was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. She stood up and took my hand. But now you know Mom was just looking out for you. It's not that you don't have what it takes to get into Peking University. You're just limited by the number of spots available for direct admission. Listen to Mom. Give up your guaranteed admission to Shanghai University. Start preparing for the entrance exams now. And you'll definitely get into Peking University. Mom wouldn't hurt you. I looked at her, looking at this familiar face. For the past 18 years, every time she said, Mom would never hurt you, I believed her. But this time, I just felt sick. I shook off her hand. I won't give up. Why are you such a stubborn kid? I've been listening to you for 18 years. I took a step back. I'll do whatever you say. Study whatever you tell me to study. Get up at whatever time you tell me to. And come in first on the exam if you ask me to. I did it. But what did you do? You accused me of cheating in front of the whole school. I couldn't go on. The tears finally began to fall. Mom, what have I ever done to you? My mom was stunned. She opened her mouth as if to say something, but then swallowed her words. Then she stood up and brushed the dust off her clothes. If you don't listen to me, you'll regret it later. I won't. You will. She turned to leave. I won't have any more regrets, I said. She paused for a moment, didn't look back, and pushed the door open to go out. The principal was waiting for me at the end of the hallway. Qing Yao, are you okay? I shook my head, then nodded. Principal, my mom. The school will handle her case. The principal sighed. She's no longer suited to continue serving as homeroom teacher. I will submit a request to the Department of Education to suspend her teaching duties. I nodded. Thank you, Principal. By the time I walked out of the office building, it was almost dark. The campus was quiet, and the streetlights came on one by one. I walked to the edge of the playground and sat on the steps next to the track. My phone vibrated. A message from Teacher Lee. Qing Yao. Where are you? I brought some dumplings, eat them while they're hot. My eyes are red again. He replied with a single word. Okay. As I stood up and started walking back, I suddenly thought of my past life. That version of myself standing on the roof of the school building. The wind was strong. And the sky was dark. Beneath my feet lay the empty playground. She had nothing left. I lost my eligibility for direct admission. My grades. My friends. I don't even believe in myself anymore. But in this life, things are different. I walked toward the cafeteria. An Mr.L was waiting for me at the door, carrying a cooler bag. Hurry up and eat, its chives and eggs. Your favorite. I took the lunchbox and opened it. The heat hit my face. I took a bite. Salty. It's not that the dumplings are salty, it's that I'm crying. Teacher Lee didn't say a word. She just handed me a pack of tissues. My phone vibrated again. This message was sent by a professor at Shanghai University. Qing Yao. Your enrollment paperwork is all set. See you in September. I rested my phone face down on my knees and started crying even harder. I finally don't have to prove myself anymore. In September, the new semester begins at Shanghai University. I walked through the school gates alone, dragging my suitcase behind me. The sycamore trees were tall, and sunlight filtered through the leaves, scattering across the ground. My mom sent me a lot of messages, but I didn't reply to any of them. Teacher Lee sent me a voice message. Qing Yao, are you there yet? We're here. That's good. Study hard, believe in you. Someone asked me later, do you regret it? Do you regret not listening to your mom and applying to Peking University? I said, I've already regretted it once, in my previous life. I regretted not seeing through the truth sooner. This time, I won't worry about the future anymore, because no one knows what the future holds. But I know at least this time, I chose this life for myself.